Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a quiet corporate training room on a rainy Tuesday morning. Fluorescent lights, white walls, chairs line up in perfect rows, a projector warming up, humming like an old engine. A light appears. Mandatory annual fire safety training. People walking slowly. Some sipping coffee, some scrolling through emails. Nobody excited. Nobody thinking, this hour might save my life. The instructor, calm, monotone, polite, starts reading from slides created years ago. Fire triangle, exit routes, evacuation procedures, policies, regulations, a quiz at the end. Everyone checked the box. Compliance achieved. But are they prepared? Weeks later, a fire breaks out. Smoke fills a hallway. Sprinklers activate. Alarms scream. Someone freezes. Someone runs the wrong way. Someone tries to grab belongings. Someone hesitates for 1 second too long. And the next day, the news says, investigators review an emergency response. But I know, and you probably know too, that the failure didn't start with the fire. It started in the training room, long before the smoke ever rose. Hello again, my friend. I am Pavlo Lapikov, and this is the Fire Safety Philosophy Podcast, where fire protection meets psychology, ethics, and the real human stories behind safety. Tonight, we face a question that cuts straight to the heart of fire safety. Are fire safety educators teaching compliance or survival? And with me today is someone whose experience and honestly I truly value. First Lieutenant Selena Ruth. Selena, welcome to the show. Selena, before we get deep into the failures of training, I want listeners to know who you really are. Not just the titles you've earned, but the person behind them. So let me ask you this. Who are you and what led you into the world of fire, EMS, and emergency response?
Thank you, Pavlo. I appreciate that. I grew up watching emergency responder shows up when people were having the worst day of their life. And something about that, the courage, the humanity, pulled me in. And eventually I became a firefighter, an EMS provider, and now a first lieutenant. And you're right. Titles mean nothing without what happens on scene. Over the years, I've seen people survive because they understood what to do. And I've seen the opposite. People freeze, panic, or make fatal choices because training never prepared them for real-life situations and conditions. And that's why this topic matters to me. A certificate doesn't save a life. Real understanding does.
Alright, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump right back into fire safety philosophy. This podcast is brought to you by Fireheart Fire Safety Marketing Agency. At Fireheart, we help fire safety professionals, companies, and educators share the mission with the world. From bold posters to unforgettable campaigns, we turn safety into culture. Because saving lives isn't just about systems, it's about communication. Learn more at fireheartfsma.com. So, let's back to the show. Let me share something personal, and then I want your reaction. Years ago, I took the fire educator course at Conestoga College. Walking in, I expected something powerful, something human, something that taught how to teach. Instead, It was one of the most boring courses I've ever taken. Slides, definitions, regulations, repeat. No psychology, no strategy, no communication techniques, no discussion of panic behavior, no insight into how people learn under stress. And I sat there thinking, how am I supposed to help someone survive a fire when the educator's course never taught me how to educate? So let me ask you directly. Why do you think fire educators training is so disconnected from reality?
Because most programs were built for compliance, not survival. They're designed to meet requirements, not to shape instinct. They teach content, not communication. They show information, but they never explain how the brain works in an emergency. The system assumes if you know the rules, you can teach. People don't freeze because they don't know the rules. They freeze because training didn't prepare their brains for stress. That's the gap, and it's a dangerous one.
Let me ask you something simple but important. Why do people freeze during a fire? What actually happens in the mind at that moment?
There are three main reasons people freeze. Number one, they assume the alarm is false. They've heard too many nuanced alarms in their life. Number two, they've never practiced the action. No muscle memory, no mental mapping. And number three, they don't understand smoke. People think fire equals flames. They don't realize smoke kills faster. Smoke creates zero visibility. It disorients everyone instantly. And training rarely covers any of this.
So, even adults with years of training can freeze?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen it many times. Training that doesn't stimulate stress doesn't create survival behavior.
Imagine this with me. Our house is down. A small smoldering fire behind a breaker panel. Dark smoke drifting through the rafters. A worker notices something wrong, but training never prepared him for a real emergency. He rushes toward the entrance he always uses, the default exit, in his mind. But the aisle is blocked. Smoke thickens, turning everything into shadow. Visibility drops to zero. He doesn't know the secondary road. He doesn't know the third exit. He doesn't know how fast smoke moves. He collapses, not because he didn't care, but because training didn't honor his life enough to show him the truth. Compliance taught him rules. Survival would have taught him instinct. Selena, let me ask you directly. Why do training programs ignore psychology, stress, and behavior?
Because adding those things require real effort. It requires redesigning training from the ground up. Most organizations don't want to spend the time or the money. And honestly, a lot of trainers have ever seen a real fire. So they don't know what they're preparing people for.
Alright, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump right back into fire safety philosophy. This episode is powered by Fireheart Fire Safety Marketing Agency. We believe safety should be seen, heard, and remembered. That's why Fireheart creates powerful campaigns and visuals that don't just meet compliance, they inspire culture. If you ever thought, how do I make people actually care about safety? Fireheart is the answer. Check out fireheartfsma.com. So, let's back to the show. It's wild when you think about it. We expect people to survive a life-threatening event using knowledge from a slide deck.
Exactly. And when things go wrong, the report always says occupants had completed mandatory training, as if that alone is enough.
Let's go deeper into psychology. I want you to explain something to listeners. How does stress distort decision making?
During panic, Fine motor skills disappear. Short-term memory collapses. Time feels faster. Vision narrows. Breathing spikes. Logic drops. And instinct takes over. And here's the key. Instinct equals whatever you practice most. If training never gave you an experience, you've had no instinct. And without instinct, you freeze.
Now I want your opinion on something exciting. Do you think modern tools, AI, VR, AR, can fix the gap in fire safety education? Can they turn compliance into real survival training?
Yes, absolutely. These tools give people immersive training. VR can show smoke dropping. AR can overlay flame spread in the real environment. And AI can build scenarios based on your workplace, your building, your risks. People learn what danger feels like without real danger. This is where training needs to go.
Exactly. And AI won't replace educators. It will finally give educators the tools they never had. Selena, for people listening right now, what are 5 things they can do today to be safe in the fire?
Here's what I tell everyone. Walk your primary and secondary exits, number 1. Number 2, locate extinguishers and actually touch them. Number 3, find the pull stations and practice the motion. 4, time yourself evacuating your home or your workplace. And number 5, ask your trainer what real fire experience shaped your teaching. Demand better training. Your life is worth more than a checkbox.
Alright, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump right back into fire safety philosophy. A big thank you to today's sponsor, Fireheart Fire Safety Marketing Agency. Fireheart exists because fire safety messages deserve modern tools. Posters, training programs, creative campaigns. Fireheart makes safety unforgettable. Visit fireheartfsma.com to learn more. So, let's back to the show. Perfect, simple, powerful, actionable. This conversation matters because fires today move faster. Materials burn hotter. Buildings are more complex. People rely on technology they don't understand. And yet, our training still looks like it's stuck in 1995. We want people to survive tomorrow's fires. We must teach them modern slides and regulations. We must teach them psychology, instinct, understanding, care. So, my friends, fire safety has never been about passing inspection or collecting certificates. It has always been about people. The ones you share a coffee with in the morning, the ones waiting for you at home, the ones who trust that when danger comes, someone told them something that truly matters. When we say meets code, we are choosing the minimum, but life has never been a minimum thing.
Training shouldn't just meet requirements, it should save lives.
Before the next episode, ask yourself, are you training people to pass a test or to stay alive? If this episode made you think, share it, subscribe, and leave a review. I am Pavlo Lapikov.
And I'm Selena Ruth.
Care about life, think beyond compliance. And until next time, stay thoughtful, stay safe, and never trust safety just because it's written on the certificate. Thank you. Bye bye.